Hi guys, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube. Resident underslash of underslash Collinwood for BitChute. This is my review for John Philip Betancourt's continuing blog series, The Return of Dark Shadows, Series 1, Chapter 6, The Death of JackThrone. And, you know, you have Carolyn and Alexander and Caleb, and they're just, well, more it's Carolyn and Alexander. They're talking about Jack, how they have not been able to find him, and even Caleb is just, he wants to find his uncle. And here's what is really nice about this. I said something on Twitter that is so true. John has laid the blueprint for how to do a continuation to the original series, and we've heard that this new series is going to be a continuation or a sequel. They said, I should say, but to me, if you want to look at where the blueprint's been laid and for a continuation or sequel, it's in this blog, and I'm definitely gonna leave a link in the description box, both on YouTube and BitChute for this chapter. And what I mean by that is, for example, I've mentioned we were introduced to Jack first, then Carolyn, which makes a lot of sense. And even though Carolyn is an older character, and she is a focus, she's not the main focus. She's not just, it's not like this is all about Carolyn. You have Alexander, who's Carolyn's daughter. You have Caleb, who's David's son. You've been introduced to Kate Banning, who's a young, very beautiful detective. And you have Detective Loomis McGovern, who's a new character. He's a veteran detective. You have, I've said JackThrone, but Leopold, who, that's what JackThrone has been turned into, is Leopold, this vampire. And you have Christopher, who is just Christopher Reed. And again, you have one main character from the past, and here you have a bunch, and surrounding her are a bunch of new characters. So while yes, there is the old character from the past connecting the dots for you. Here's the connection here. She's not the forefront of this story, but she is there to be a part of it, and that's something. Listen, if they do anything with this new series, if it truly is a, a continuation, a sequel, whatever it is, exactly what John has done in this blog is exactly like John should just take this, go straight to CW. Here's what you need to do, because literally, I mean, it is for me. If you're gonna do something that's a sequel, this is it. I mean, and to continue the review, really, the new characters are just, they're not just interacting with Carolyn. Yes, she's there. Like I said, she's a part of the story, but she's not just the main focus either. You have Alexander, who's Carolyn's daughter. She's a focus in this story. She's interacting with Caleb. She's interacting with Kate Banning. They're talking to her about, JackThrone. Kate Banning is, her father. Kate is there telling Carolyn and Alexander and Caleb they're going to cut back the manpower on Jack's search. They're still going to look, and if anything turns up that, call them, but they'll still look here or there. And that's what I mean. You have these new characters who are into this story. They're not just going away. They're not just, getting pushed to the side. They're there, and they continue to be there, a part of this story. And Then you have Claudia, who I said that Claudia deserves Bitch of the Year and hand that girl her award. But with all seriousness, Claudia, who is the daughter of Angelique, has turned JackThrone into a vampire, turned him into Leopold. She is trying to take his mind away from him, his will of his own away from him. This is the exact opposite of Barnabas, where Angelique just cursed Barnabas, and doomed him for whoever he loved would die. To me, what Claudia's trying to do is where Leopold, who's JackThrone, does not have a will of his own at all. And finally, Carolyn, after Leopold attacks Alexander, and what stops him is his memory of her, JackThorne's memory of, her, despite Claudia's efforts, that girl, there's something wrong with her. She's evil. I mean, she is. Claudia, even though, listen, even though Leopold is my favorite villain of all time throughout this series, Claudia is somebody who you just don't forget because of how she was introduced and just her actions or something else. I mean, really. So Claudia's sort of effect to try to take JackThorne's memories away from sort of don't work right away, and it's something she's gonna have to constantly do and constantly keep an eye on. So JackThrone, even though this chapter is entitled "The Death of JackThrone," it's more about the struggle of Claudia getting the death of JackThrone, in my opinion, in this reader's perspective. And I like that because you have a struggle here where JackThrone does love his family. JackThrone did give a shit. He didn't ask to be Leopold. He didn't want to be Leopold. He doesn't want to be a vampire. And when Carolyn finally figures out what has happened to JackThrone, that JackThrone has been turned into this Leopold, this young man, and that's who she met all those years ago, was this young man. And it's like the younger version looking of himself. She's, oh God, you're a vampire. You're just like my cousin, like she remembered, Barnabas. And that's another thing too. John mentions Barnabas, in this enough to let you know, hey, by the way, by the way, remember that other guy? Yeah, yeah, don't forget. It really is. And that's what I mean too. This is so well done. You have a lot of seeds that are being planted with, Christopher. He does try to bite Christopher in this, but something stops him. There's a sense about Christopher, he just does not bite him, and that's coming. But I'm not giving nothing away, even though this is a revisitator. I don't want to. You guys should go read this for yourself. But I don't want to completely give stuff away. I thought I was going to when I revisited this. I'm like, I should just give it all away. I'm like, nah, you guys need to read this for yourself. But because I do want people to go and read this for themselves, even though I am revisiting it. It's a lot of fun to go back and read. So I like that you have seeds planted for Christopher, Alexander. They're sort of, they're dating. You have Caleb and Kate Banning's interaction, which I almost forgot to mention. And Caleb realizes he's sort of been in love with Kate. This sort of whole time, even when they were in school, he's just had these feelings for her. They've sort of been bottled up. And Kate's flirting, or Kate Banning's flirting with Caleb. And I love their interaction about Collinwood itself, really. It's a really good... She's like, you expect me to believe that like strange occurrences are going on around here? I can't. And that's sort of what he loves about her, that, that she can't come to believe that Caleb knows some shit's going on in this house. Let me tell you. But um, listen, if you date a Collins, if you attempt to marry a Collins, if you attempt to be friends with a Collins, make sure your life insurance policy is up to date. Buy everything superstitious you can. Go to your local store. Buy whatever you got to do. Um, Church, like, you know how church is every Sunday. Go every fucking day. Um, you open? No, you're open now. I'm coming in. I'm dating the Collins. That's what my line would be. But this is definitely something you guys need to go check out. And what I really like here is too is Leopold. You know, Leopold struggle not just with what I should say. JackThrone struggle with Leopold, but Claudia struggled to completely control the situation. Yeah, she's a bitch, but she wants what she wants. Even and she's having difficulty getting it, even though she has these powers, because the human will is the damnedest thing, and that's something too. Again, the struggle of this is, to me, is more the focus of, it's the struggle of her, causing the death of JackThrone completely, and that's the thing I would say. Um, Again, something I just said here a little bit ago, but I just love how Claudia isn't able to do it just snap of her fingers, because again, she underestimates the human will and the human spirit, really. And no matter what, Carolyn does love Jack, and that's something she saw in the distance when she was spying on Carolyn and Leopold, who's Jack, who he doesn't want to hurt any of his family members, and this could literally blow up in Claudia's face, and we all know things definitely blew up in Angelique's face. So I really enjoyed this chapter. This Go check it out. Very, very, very well written. I can't recommend this enough. If you guys have not checked out The Return of Dark Shadows, link is going to be in the description box. Again, this is amazing. Somebody who's watched the original series and has read this and going back through this, it really is a continuation. I mean, again, this is something I would like to see in the new series where, okay, you have your old character, sure, but here's all these new characters, and they're interesting too, and we're going to make them interesting. Like I said, this blog is that blueprint for sure. Definitely huge shout out to John Philip Betancourt. He has done an amazing job on this. So links in the description box, guys. I'm gonna do Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 right after this. So as soon as I upload these two, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. So that's gonna be an interesting one too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.